What's going on, everyone? Today we are going to build my Canon C70 into a mini cinema rig, and this rig that I am going to use is going to work for the new Canon C50 as well as the new Canon C80, and it's even going to work on your mirrorless camera such as the Canon R8 and the Canon R6 Mark II. So let's get into it. Now, this video is not sponsored by SmallRig, but I did use all of SmallRig components to build out this rig, and that is just because I think SmallRig produces some very high quality equipment when it comes to building out a cinema rig. And when building out a cinema rig, I really do like to keep it as small as possible because a lot of times I'm traveling with this equipment to go film a mini documentary or do some interviews, and I want to keep my equipment to a minimum when I am traveling. So that is one of the reasons why I went with SmallRig, because their products are high quality, but also they allow me to keep my cinema rig a little bit smaller, which is something I really like. Now let's talk about the camera that I am going to be building out. So I am currently going to be building out this Canon C70, and this Canon C70 has the Zine CF cine lens on it. So I'm using a 50mm, and that's because I like to shoot 50mm when I am doing interviews. And this rig that I am building up is going to be used for upcoming interviews, so that's why I have my Zine 50mm on. But once I have the rig built, I will show you how easy it is to switch lenses out. Whether you're using the same series of lenses or if you're switching to a whole new series, it's that easy to be able to make this rig modular and fit whatever your need is. So the first component that I want to talk about is the base plate, and I don't know if you can see this here, but this is just a SmallRig Baseplate, and what this is going to do is it's going to hold my rails, and it also has a slot where I can put my plate, but I'm going to use the plate that's already on my Canon C70, and that's because it's the same plate that I use on my gimbal. That way when I'm switching from the interview setup to capturing some more B-roll, it's that easy to switch systems and I don't have to worry about switching plates. So first we're just going to remove the plate that came with the SmallRig setup here. So I'm going to set that off on the side, and then I'm going to talk about the two rails that I am going to use. So these are the carbon fiber rails from SmallRig. Now I did originally have the metal ones or the aluminum ones, but I did want to upgrade to carbon fiber just because it is stronger and it's also lighter when traveling and carrying. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my rails, and that way we have a good base that we can start building our rig out on. So these simply just go in and you could tighten them to where you see fit. I'm going to just give myself a little bit more room in the back because I am going to be adding a battery on here. But now you can see I have my rails attached to the bottom of this base, and I can begin building out my rig from here. So the first component that I am going to add is my battery, and the battery we are going to be starting with is this one, and this one is also from SmallRig. This is the SmallRig VB50. And I think this is a great battery because a lot of times I am going to run a monitor through this, or I am going to attach it to my camera if my camera's battery is running a little bit lower. And a lot of times the interviews that I am filming aren't longer than an hour, hour and a half. So at most I'm going to be filming 4 to 5 hours throughout the day. And this little battery gets me through that, and I haven't had any issues with it. I like it too because it's a little bit smaller. It is their smallest battery, which again allows me to keep my rig a little bit more compact. And we are going to attach this to this base plate here. So this plate here is going to allow me to attach my V-mount battery to my rails. So I'm going to just simply put them on at that back here. And I'm going to tighten them down, just loosen it a little bit so I can get them on the rails here. And I don't need to leave that much space because it's okay if my battery hangs off a little bit. I would rather have a little bit more space up front for my follow focus. So now you can see I have my plate attached to my rails, and now this is going to be a perfect spot for me to put my VB50 battery. So now I'm going to take my battery and I am going to just attach it to the back here, and it just slides on. There we go. Our rig is starting to come together nicely. So the next thing I am going to do is I am going to add the camera to the rig. And like I said, I do have this plate on the bottom here, which is actually the plate I use on my gimbal. And this is going to simply slide onto the base of the rig that I am building out. Also, I did want to mention that I did recently start a Substack, and I would love for you guys to follow me on my journey over a Substack. My Substack is kovaleki.substack.com, and I am talking about a lot of photography and filmmaking over there. So go ahead, check it out, and give me a follow. One thing I do like to do is leave my monitor out. That way it's not getting in the way. And this just simply slides on there. Perfect. I'm already tightened it up there. And now I am just gonna push this back as far as I can before it hits that battery. And then we are gonna lock back up our rails. As you can see, we are starting to build out this rig a little bit more, and it is starting to look like that cinema rig that we are going after. So because this lens that I am using is a manual focus lens, now one thing that I can do is I can hold it on the tripod and I can move it manually like this, but that's really inefficient and you're not going to get as a precise focus as if you were to use a follow focus. So this is a follow focus by SmallRig, and this is the F60, and I have been using this on the last couple shoots I have been on, and I've been really liking this follow focus. It's really nicely built, and also it has a wood handle, which adds a little bit to the aesthetic that I'm going after. So now I am going to add my follow focus to my rig here, and I just loosen up the bottom part here, and now I can slide it right onto the rail, and then I can line this up perfectly so it does match the focus teeth on my Zine lens. And then from here I am just going to rotate it a little bit, make sure it's lined up exactly where I need it. So now I'm going to just tighten this down here on my rails. And then if I need to make a micro adjustment, you can come up here, loosen this a little bit, and it allows you to get a little bit closer to the lens. So I'm just going to push it up against the lens and pull this here so I know everything is tight. And now it's going to be super easy for me to use this follow focus and ensure I'm getting critical focus for every shot. Now, a lot of times, because I am just doing interviews, I have this set up on my tripod, and I'm just doing micro adjustments as someone's head's going in and out of frame. So I'm not doing a whole lot of focus pulling, but it is nice to have this on the side here versus using my hand on the other side and trying to focus that way. I do think I do get more consistent results using this follow focus. So the next thing we are going to do is I am going to use this D-pack here. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to use the battery pack on the back of my rig here in order to power on my camera. And that way, if my battery does die on my camera, I have this as a backup. So I can just plug this in on the side over here. Okay, so now that I have my battery plugged into the back of my camera here, I can turn my battery on by pressing the power button, and you see it is at 72%, or maybe you could see that. But now I can turn my camera on and I can begin using it and start recording whatever I need to record on my Canon C70. Now, this rig is pretty easy to take a camera off and also use another camera. So I have also used this rig on my Canon R8. I can't show you that right now because I am recording on my Canon R8, but it is really easy to switch out cameras and just be able to manipulate the rig that you are building out. So here, I'll turn this camera back off and I'll show you just how easy it is to switch lenses. So let's say I wanted a little bit more of a vintage look and I wanted to add a little bit more character to the interview that I was filming. What I could do is I'll just grab this lens here. This is a Canon f/50mm, and this is a vintage Canon lens, which works really great. It goes down all the way to 1.4, but as you can see here, the size comparison is very different from the Zine lenses, which I have on. So if I were to switch this out by just taking this lens off, I can take my follow focus here and I can just move it off on the side a little bit while I switch lenses. So now I can switch lenses. I can take my Zine RF lens off, put the cap back on it. And now I'll put on the Canon FD lens here. So I have an adapter here, which allows me to use the FD lenses on the RF mount. So you just line up the dots here and then I could twist it on. And now if I wanted to pull focus using the SmallRig F60 follow focus, I would have to use this. And I talked about this a little bit earlier, and this is just a friction ring because I don't have teeth on this Canon FD lens. So I could just apply it here to the follow focus and it just goes on very easily. It just slips on here. Perfect, and now I can just move this back on my rig a little bit and line up the friction teeth with the focus on the lens here. And this one I do like to push down a little bit more just so I can get maximum friction. As you can see now, I'll bend down a little bit so hopefully it focuses on the camera. When I twist it, I am now focusing on the vintage FD lens, and this works really well. And this is cool too because I don't have to constantly add the teeth to whatever lens I am using. I can just use this little friction wheel which comes with the SmallRig F60. Awesome, well that'll do for today, guys. Thank you again for watching. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions about this cinema rig or the Canon C70 or the Zine lenses or anything about filmmaking, please ask them in the comment section below. Please follow me on Instagram and TikTok because I am posting a lot of content about filmmaking over there, and I would love for you to join me over on those platforms. As I mentioned earlier, I did also start a Substack, so you follow me at kovalecki.substack.com. Please like and subscribe to my channel because you know it helps my channel grow, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.